Good morning, everyone. My name is Sue, and I am a survivor of a stroke. I wanted to jump on and make a podcast about my journey. And every journey has a beginning. And this will be my first episode to share with you guys my stroke journey so far. I'm recovering at this amazing program in Texas that has saved my life. Not only did they save my life, they've enriched my life and allowed me to come closer to being the person that I was before my stroke. So in October of last year, I was at my job. I'm a teacher, and I was taking a break at lunch, and I stroked out. Luckily, my nurse found me laying next to my car and called 911 immediately and got me to the hospital. And that started my journey. I was in the hospital and in ICU for 3 days. And in that 3 days that I can't remember, I'll never remember, my school was able to call my husband, who did not live in the same town that I was living in. And my husband rushed up with my other son, who lives with him in another state. And they sat by my bed and prayed for me to recover. I woke up 3 days later in intensive care. I couldn't feel the left side of my body. I was very confused. Though I knew my name, I struggled with putting sentences together, et cetera, et cetera. While in ICU, I learned that I was a little annoyed while I was unconscious. Poor dears. You gotta love nurses in ICU. You gotta love anybody who works with a caring, in a caring role, like being a nurse or a doctor or a teacher. Long story short, not really, I can't make this long story short, but it took me probably 2 weeks of laying in bed to realize how much my life was going to be impacted by the stroke that I had. In my head, as I gained my senses, I was still thinking I could walk. I still was thinking that I would be returning to my job. I was still thinking that this was just going to be a momentary hiccup in my life. And I was going to, as everything in my life, I was going to recover quickly, and I was going to get back to the old days and the old Sue. It is now 6 months later, and I am still in recovery. And I want to use this podcast to share the journey. Because I know one thing, one of the biggest issues that I've had to deal with as I have recovered my senses is the knowledge and the understanding that it's up to me. That I don't know if I'd ever really, I have in my life, but in my adult life, I can't remember a time where I didn't have connections with other people that enriched my life. And I had never felt so alone as I felt in this recovery. And sharing this story is going to help me. I've noticed, that one of the most beneficial things that has happened to me in this Day Neuro program is my recreational therapy has allowed me to express what the journey has been like. And I wanted to, as part of my recovery, start a podcast to talk about it, because it does help.